Welcome back to Crime Chronicles, where we unravel the mysteries of the darkest true crime stories. Today, we're venturing into the chilling case of the Isdal Woman, a mystery that has perplexed investigators for over half a century. Who was she? What led to her tragic fate in the isolated Isdalen Valley of Bergen, Norway? Stay with us as we explore the depths of this cold case. On a cold morning in November 1970, a professor and his two daughters were hiking in the Isdalen Valley, also ominously known as Death Valley. What was supposed to be a peaceful nature walk quickly turned into a scene from a horror story when they stumbled upon the charred remains of a woman lying among the rocks, her belongings scattered around in a cryptic display. The scene was macabre. The woman's body was severely burnt, and nearby, investigators found an array of items: jewelry, watches, a broken umbrella, bottles containing sleeping pills, and several passports. Each item appeared deliberately placed, as if leaving cryptic clues. The passports, later found to be forged, had different identities, adding layers of mystery about the woman's true identity. Norwegian police launched an extensive investigation, piecing together the woman's last known movements across Europe. She had stayed at various hotels in Bergen, always under different aliases pulled from her multiple passports. Hotel staff reported that she kept to herself, spoke several languages fluently, and seemed well-traveled. Yet something about her was unsettlingly elusive. Those who had interacted with her described the Isdal Woman as guarded and mysterious. She often wore wigs and changed her hairstyle frequently. One peculiar detail that stood out was her penchant for not just privacy, but near anonymity, as she requested room changes often and avoided social interactions at the hotels where she stayed. The autopsy revealed more puzzling details: high doses of sleeping pills in her system and distinct smoke particles in her lungs, suggesting she was alive while burning. Yet the cause of death was declared as a combination of sedative overdose and carbon monoxide poisoning, with the burns post-mortem. These findings only deepened the intrigue and raised more questions than answers. As the Cold War was at its peak, one prevailing theory emerged: espionage. The Isdal Woman's use of disguises, multiple identities, and her mysterious movements across Europe painted a picture that fit the profile of a spy. Norway, during this time, was a hotbed of international espionage, with both NATO and the Warsaw Pact actively operating within its borders. The public was both fascinated and terrified by the Isdal Woman. The media coverage was relentless, with theories ranging from professional hit jobs to personal tragedy. Her story became a part of local folklore, a ghostly presence that haunted the collective consciousness of the Norwegian public. Decades later, the case remains open. Advances in forensic science prompted a fresh look at the Isdal Woman case in the 21st century. Modern DNA analysis techniques were applied to her preserved tissue samples in hopes of finally uncovering her identity and possibly her origins. Recent forensic investigations have provided new insights, but the mystery endures. Isotope analysis of her teeth suggested she spent her early years in Central or Eastern Europe before moving west. This crucial detail offered a geographical context to her origins, yet her identity remains one of Norway's most enduring mysteries. Among the personal effects found near the Isdal Woman's body, the notepads filled with cryptic codes were particularly baffling. Police decrypted the codes to reveal a detailed travel itinerary across Europe, from Oslo to Stavanger to Paris and beyond. Each entry was meticulously noted, suggesting that her travels were either highly organized for business or covert operations. This clue supported theories of her involvement in espionage or smuggling, perhaps indicating why she went to great lengths to avoid detection. Researchers and amateur sleuths have proposed numerous theories about the Isdal Woman's identity and her activities. Some suggest she was involved in industrial espionage, trading secrets among Europe's burgeoning tech industries during the Cold War. Others believe she might have been a courier for secret documents, her frequent travels providing perfect cover. The meticulous avoidance of personal connections and her apparent fear of being followed, as reported by some witnesses, lend credence to these theories. The mystery of the Isdal Woman captured the imagination of the public and the media alike. Norwegian newspapers at the time were filled with speculations and reports about the case, each new revelation sparking waves of amateur detectives eager to solve the puzzle. This public fascination led to numerous books, documentaries, and even podcasts decades later, each attempting to shed light on the dark corners of this enduring mystery. The investigation into the Isdal woman's death faced numerous challenges from the start. The 1970s forensic technology was limited, and the international nature of her supposed background made tracing her movements and identity exceedingly difficult. Authorities had to navigate through a maze of dead ends and false leads, as every new piece of evidence seemed to open up more questions than answers. Forensic psychologists have speculated on her state of mind in the days leading up to her death. The large quantities of sleeping pills and the painful method of death suggest a deep despair or a calculated decision to avoid capture. Was it suicide, a staged scene, or murder designed to look like suicide? Her isolated lifestyle and the apparent absence of anyone who knew her true identity suggests she was deeply entrenched in her role, whatever it may have been. The Isdal Woman case drew interest from international law enforcement agencies, with police in several European countries working collaboratively, comparing notes on similar cases and unidentified persons. This international effort, however, was hindered by Cold War tensions and the lack of digital databases that today aid global investigations. In recent years, advanced DNA techniques have offered hope in shedding light on this cold case. Scientists extracted DNA from the Isdal woman's preserved soft tissues, hoping to find matches in global genetic databases. This attempt to trace her lineage and possibly connect her with living relatives has reinvigorated interest in the case, as each test could potentially bring investigators closer to a breakthrough. The Isdal woman has seeped into the cultural fabric of Norway and beyond, symbolizing the ultimate unsolvable mystery. She represents the many faces of anonymity, the transient nature of identity, and the fragility of life. Artists, writers, and filmmakers have drawn inspiration from her story, using it as a backdrop for exploring themes of alienation, espionage, and the complexity of human nature. With ongoing advancements in forensic science, especially in genetic genealogy, there is renewed hope that the Isdal woman's identity will eventually be uncovered. Law enforcement continues to receive tips and leads, which are meticulously followed up. The case remains active in the public eye, with online forums and social media discussions often reigniting interest and bringing forward new theories. With ongoing advancements in forensic science, especially in genetic genealogy, there is renewed hope that the Isdal woman's identity will eventually be uncovered. Law enforcement continues to receive tips and leads, which are meticulously followed up. The case remains active in the public eye, with online forums and social media discussions often reigniting interest and bringing forward new theories.